It's your girl Chris with Lyrical Guidance, coming in with a message in the dark tonight. Yes, it's after the shower. It's candlelit darkness, if that makes sense. So I am a whole vibe right now, and I want you to prepare your own energy to receive this message. If you see the image on this video and any of these songs resonate with you, either you've heard them recently or it's your favorite song, or a message from that song may resonate with your current situation, this message may be for you. So relax. Let's take some deep breaths. Inhale with me. Exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale. All right, welcome to this space, this time, this place, and I invite Holy Spirit, angels, ancestors of the highest vibrational frequency to sit with us as I walk you through the message that the divine has offered me on this evening. Some of you, and actually I'm going to say all of you who have clicked on this video, are entering or have been presented with an opportunity to love again. You've been presented with an opportunity to explore relationship dynamics with someone new. This is not a return person. This is not someone that you dated before and that broke your heart. What Spirit is saying is that you've gone through cycles of pain and frustration. You've had traumatic experiences with romantic relationships specifically, and your heart isn't closed. Like, you're not closed off to new connections, but you're very leery of them. You're not fully open to the possibility of starting over again. That's what Spirit is saying. But Spirit wants you to know that you're safe and that it's a yes. Of course, it's your choice. You have complete free will. And if not this person, then someone else will come along. But the message is not about the person, him or herself. The message is about positioning yourself or knowing that, yes, you are enduring cycles of, romantic connections that are taking a toll on you. But it's not about what you're enduring, but how you get up and the lessons that you learn through those connections. Spirit knows it's not easy for you to hear. Like, it might be a challenge for you to understand how you can enter into a relationship and come out of it with such trauma or baggage and pain. And Spirit said that you're now in a season where you're learning to release and to heal. So I pulled 4 of my handwritten cards. The first one that came out was, you heard it right. You are in alignment. The person that came into your energy, that came into wherever it is, whether you work together or you're in a social group together, you serve on a particular board, you're connected through mutual friends. This is someone that you see on occasion, but you know that there's something there. You definitely are aware of each other and mutual interest and respect. They're genuine. They're very sincere in their approach. I have to say that does not mean that this person is perfect. It only means that this person aligns with where you currently are. People are a reflection of where you currently are. So if you have that peace and that comfort, that peace to move forward, that peace that says, I like this person, then yes, this is confirmation that this person aligns with your present season. But also, yes, this person is here for a reason. You want to find and identify the pros. You want to identify the things that light you up, that make you feel adventurous, that make you feel joy, that make you feel loved and adored. The things that turn you on. You want to make sure that all of those things are present. But that doesn't mean that you're going to have the perfect relationship, because neither of you are perfect. But it does mean that you are aligned. The second card that came out was It's Your Turn, but it came out in reverse. And it's because you don't believe this person. And the first card basically says the same thing or something similar. It's not that, it is that you have insecurities that have absolutely nothing at all to do with this person. And just a nugget, I was on a social media platform. I was on Threads not too long ago, and someone posted about people needing time in between relationships before they get into another one. And the word that was used was jump into another one. Sometimes when you are magnetic, you will attract a new connection with ease. Like, you will attract genuine connections, and for the most part, good connections, if you're magnetic. And I sense that I'm talking to very magnetic people. So we have to understand that there is no formula for when it's safe to enter into a new connection, because healing is continuous. If you experienced heartbreak in high school and you're now 40 years old, but you remember the time that Johnny kissed Becky in the hallway and you caught him, that's going to be a memory that's kind of etched, and that may be, the foundation of trust issues that you've developed. That doesn't mean that you have to put your romantic life at a standstill, bring it to a standstill for you to address what Johnny did to you 30 years ago. Healing is continuous. So when you identify that is the time that you acknowledge it. The first step in all of this is to acknowledge, like, okay, I do have trust issues that are rooted in this. And then you identify the best way for you to address that so that you can heal it and move forward. In addition, also communicating with your partner, whomever it is that you're dating, or whatever the dynamics of your relationship is, like, hey, I am someone who deals with insecurities. I am someone who deals with fear of rejection. I am someone who deals with fear of abandonment because my mother and father walked away from me, because, my marriage didn't work out and I felt like a failure. Whatever it is, it's about acknowledging that thing. That is what emotional maturity is, acknowledging it and being comfortable enough, vulnerable enough to talk about your makeup. That at that point, it's your genetic makeup. You don't have to erase all of the pain and trauma of your past to move forward. You just have to acknowledge that it's there and that it does trigger you in certain ways and kind of cause you to think or react in certain ways. Not saying that all thinking, reacting, and triggering is detrimental, because if a thought triggers me, it doesn't mean that I lash out. It doesn't mean that I become a jerk about it or whatever. It might mean that I go inward. It might mean that I become more reflective. It might mean sadness. It might mean something else aside from blowing up. So if you know that your response to what you're carrying will definitely impact other people negatively, then yes, I would say you may want to address that before entering into a relationship. But if you have the emotional maturity to identify it, to say, I'm working through this, I'm working on it actively, but it does not impact you, and it should not impact our relationship. And I'm sharing it with you just in case you notice that that's coming up. Know that it's not about you. So I'm saying all of that to say, if you are in a space where you're like, well, I'm not ready yet. They can't trust me with the weight of this connection. I believe this message is telling you, yes, that person can. Anyone else, I don't know. I'm talking specifically about someone that's on your mind right now. They can handle it, and they were equipped and prepared to handle you in this season. Okay? Trust and believe that they're ready. And I'm not saying to dump all of your baggage and all of your mess onto them. But as your connection unfolds and you move forward, you will realize that they are equipped. They're more than equipped. So a part also of the message that, of what happened with that whole Threads post, you have to, again, there is no formula, no equation for when you get into those connections after another one. I'm not saying to ignore toxicity or a need to mask unhealed trauma with a new connection, because that does exist for some people. Some people will literally go from relationship to relationship because they do not want to deal with their own inner conflict. If you're not that person and you're someone who, and I believe that I'm talking to a collective of people who are open to identifying what needs to be healed and actively doing the work. So if you know, like, no, I'm not masking my pain with a new person, then this is for you to understand that it's okay to not feel like you don't have it all figured out, to know that there are some aspects of your being that you feel could perform better, could, be better, could be better healed. That's okay. You're not ever going to be 100%. But you need to take that leap of faith and trust that someone can carry the weight of you, the weight of your journey, the weight of your evolution, the weight of your healing. Because simultaneously, they're going to be healing certain aspects of their being as well. And it's up to you both to not judge that process, but to join each other in that journey or on that journey to healing and getting to the next point of your evolution. There is a possibility also that when that is completed, you will transition apart from each other. So relationships are not guaranteed permanence. And I believe that a lot of people see a romantic connection as something that should always be permanent, and they want to claim and own the individual themselves instead of owning the experience. There is a difference between ownership of a person and saying, for every day that I'm able to wake up next to you, I'm going to make it the best day in whatever way that I can. And that does not mean that it's going to be perfect or even good. It just means that if there is a lesson for me to learn, grow, and develop as a person, then I'm going to take full advantage of that. So even in that post, I responded that, I had never had a bad breakup. And I'm not going to say that I've never had heartbreak, because heartbreak happens naturally at the site of offense, at the moment of offense, and that could be deception, lying. It could be anything, just an issue that creates mistrust. But at the end of the day, I never had a bad breakup because I knew that once someone was no longer aligned and there was way too much friction, then I knew that the misalignment and the pain that was caused for something that didn't have to be permanent was an indication that it was time to move on. And so I had the hard conversations. And a lot of people are so stuck trying to, fit a square into something that's round, and it just doesn't fit. And even though you might get caught up in nostalgia and like, oh, well, it used to be so perfect. It was so great. We used to, talk all night and chat and fall asleep on the phone or go to the best romantic dinners and hang out with the friends. And now all of that is gone. Well, it was good in that season because they were aligned with you in that season. And it's a possibility that one or both of you have basically evolved apart from each other, like evolved in different directions. And that's okay. Our humanity makes us want to claim people in a way that's unnatural and unhealthy. And I'm not talking about marriage. That is for a whole other day. Obviously, this reading is for people who are dating because this person just came into your experience and the connection is only recently established. Marriage, that talk is for a whole other day, believe me. But don't enter into this connection or any connection thinking this is my person. You will not have ownership of a person, nor their mindset, nor their actions. You can only own the experience and make that experience what it is that you desire for it to be. Take from it whatever it is that you need to take from it. But this person is definitely in line. The card between lovers and friends came out as well. But it's in reverse. It's upside down. And I think that energy is you questioning, again, whether or not it's a connection that you can trust. And so I asked for clarification and I've received the card, I will always find you. That reflects patience and openness from the other individual. So this other person is open to the connection that you have. They are someone that has been friendly. I wouldn't say that you're friends because, I would say that you have been platonic. I would say that it's not sexual yet. It's not really romantic yet. So you're in that phase where you're feeling each other out right now. And this person is hopeful, is what that card reflects. So you can trust it. The card Don't Talk Too Much also came out in reverse, which to me is indicating that you can move freely and actually share. Because when it comes out right side up, it's literal don't talk too much. But because of your caution, because of your anxiety, your fear, your worry, you're really moving at a pace where you're treading lightly. And so it's okay to open up with this person and even about this person because it's real. And I sense that some of you are withholding because you don't want your friends to know. Maybe you just recently got out of a relationship and I think you fear judgment that they would say, hey, well, weren't you just with Johnny or whatever? And so here you are like, well, I don't want to tell my homegirls because, they're going to judge me for moving on with Ricky over here, these names. Oh my gosh. Maybe somebody's name is Johnny or Ricky. But anyway, yeah, like you fear judgment too. And spirit is like, let that go. You feel free because this person and this connection is real. like you, yeah, that's another thing too. We can't help, like we can't, look, if somebody is choosing to love me, I didn't make this person love me, fall for me. Like, I can't help that this person is interested in me and it's a mutual attraction. Like, we can't control how things happen. There have been numerous love stories where you're like, this person, I've seen love stories where a couple met through the person's ex. Like, let's just say, you know, there's a married couple and then there is the best friend of the wife, right? The wife passes away and I mean like of a freak accident or whatever, not, they set her up, but let's just say the wife passes away and then the best friend, knowing the couple and knowing the husband, just easily just kind of go, like, you can't be mad at her because, she met her husband in that way. You can't, it's not that they were having an affair behind this person's back. It was an innocent connection. But if they were fearful, if they were like, oh, well, we really are concerned about what people would think, they could potentially miss out on a really good marriage, a really good connection, a really good relationship because they feared what people would think. And to me, that is a very severe dynamic. That's a crazy dynamic because you're looking at all of okay, so did they set her up? Like, was she killed? Like, we're questioning a lot of stuff. Did you guys have an affair before she died? You must have. So that's a lot. And what you're facing right now is absolutely nothing to, nowhere near close to that. You're just holding back because you fear that it's not real, and you also fear sharing about it because you don't want to be judged because maybe you just got out of something, or maybe the last connection was so catastrophic that other people might assume that you need time for yourself. Do not allow anyone to dictate your experience. It's yours. You follow your own peace. So I'm moving forward. The card that came out last was unique. This is a very unique connection. And I think everything that I've said thus far has basically shown that this is not a connection that, you could predict would happen. Like, you didn't see this person coming. No, you definitely didn't see this person coming. You didn't see that they would be interested in you. And you definitely right now do not see that they're able and willing to hold space for you. Be gentle with them. Like I said, do not bombard them with your foolishness because, and I mean foolishness because you could go there. We all have things that need to be addressed, but it's how we present those things that allows someone the ability to help us, to nurture us through the process. Don't do a whole trauma dump. No, it's how you approach it. It's not that you are still healing. It's how you approach in your unhealed state. So, the last thing before I end this, I asked Spirit for some clarifying cards. Maybe in another life, again, that came out, and it's your doubt. You feeling like a sitting duck, the fear. And if you look, actually, this goes back to the playlist. I allowed those songs to play, and I asked Spirit if I should do a message on those songs, and I got a yes, and so that's why I'm doing it. But the sitting duck card came out, and that's your current energy. Like, I feel like this is going to play out all over again. That's your insecurity speaking. That is not you. The real you is confident. The real you is magnetic, and that's why you actually magnetize this person. The real you, calculated just came to mind, but I guess you would be calculated because you're confident. Like, it's one of those things where you know your value, you know your worth, you see yourself, you fully see yourself. But tarnished just came to mind. The last connection really tarnished your belief and faith in healthy relationships, healthy connections. Understand that when something is healthy doesn't mean that it's going to be lasting. So you have to use, and that's crazy, because I asked, I asked Spirit for advice, and some of the, what came out was articulate, meaning, definitely talk about it. And it actually came out in this order: articulate, dark, and intuitive. It takes faith, and I'm here for you all came out. You have to use your intuition. You have to know when something no longer aligns or resonates with you. I release all things that no longer serve me. I release all things that no longer work for me. That is a beautiful chorus song. It is, a mantra that I definitely use. I won't say daily because that would be a lie. But that is something, actually, you know what? I use it in a different form. Release mindsets, behaviors, people, habits that do not serve who you are today. If something served who you were last year, that was the you last year, baby. They back there. The you this year has different desires, has different goals, ambitions, dreams, different understanding. You're living a different reality. The skin of last year has been shed, baby. You're not that person anymore. So why do you think that this person from last year is going to fit your current experience? But we look at loyalty and longevity and we're like, well, it has to fit. And we try to force it, and we're dealing with way more conflict than we should, because you're resisting letting go of what doesn't serve you. It served you. This is why I say I never had a bad breakup, because I can acknowledge when something served me and the season ended. So I could say, okay, even if, and I'm not saying that, I haven't been mistreated and stayed. There is a point where you are mistreated, and there is that last time that you're like, okay, yep, I'm good. So this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to move. So don't think that, using myself as an example, that I would just be like, oh, well, you just showed me one red flag and now I'm gone. No, that's not it. I allow people to operate in their humanity, and I love all of their facets. But at the point where I can no longer function in the way that I desire and maintain that connection, I have to let them go, because it no longer serves me. So Spirit is saying that you need to move in a wisdom similar to that, where you are using your intuition, your knowingness, and your connection to divine source to say, hey, let's tap in. Does this continue? Is this serving me? Or am I ready to move on to something else? Surrender. Don't hold too tightly to something that is no longer for you, for fear that somebody else would get them. Yeah, maybe it's their time to help someone else on this leg of their journey. Maybe you spend a year with them and you both were able to evolve beautifully. But then there was a conflict, some tension that just would not go away. And even though you've tried to work through it, it's just not working out. And it's like, okay, well, maybe this is the end of this. Maybe this is the nudge, the push that I need to move towards something else. We assume that the ending of something means that everything is ended. No. As long as you are alive, an ending is an indication of a beginning, because once something ends, something else has to begin. It's all about your perspective and how you see things. But for right now, I'm going to say that you are okay. Yes, I can acknowledge that you have been going through these cycles of endings and beginnings, and you're wanting to lock someone in, but you need to shift that mindset. You need to let the person that can serve you in this season, and I don't mean serve like, okay, it's one-sided and they want to be with me, so I'll just take it. No, I'm not talking about settling. I'm saying serving the parts of you that need nurturing in this season, and you being open and willing to do the same for them. Mutual respect and understanding, mutual growth. That's what that was beautiful. I like that. Mutual growth, where you're not the only one growing and they're not you're both growing at the same time through this connection. That's what Spirit has aligned for you. So yeah, you may have faced some stuff in your previous connection, but Spirit is saying, I'm going to help you grow from that with this one. Trust it. I thank you so much for tuning in, for listening to me, for just being here, for clicking on this video. Please like it if it resonates. Leave me a comment. Tell me something good. And until next time, goodbye.